whatever it takes.
So I know we've touched on a little bit, but I just want you to elaborate and tell me, well, first off, how you got the job at the phone company. And then you have the courage to protest with Stokely Carmichael while being a single mother. So I got a sense of, based on, how you were talking about your being a mother and having a son and what that looked like. So if you want to elaborate in that area and also tell me how you got the job, that would be amazing.
The job at the telephone company was actually because of my father.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the things were beginning to break. Opportunities for companies to get involved in. And my father was an ad agent of the advertising manager at the Afro-American newspaper. So companies would come to him. And so there were two companies that were looking to diversify and be more inclusive in their hiring practices. And one was the telephone company and the other was Airlines. Um, and so my father asked me which would I want to do. Well, the United Airlines, that was glamorous to be a stewardess, as they were called at that time, or going to the telephone company. But I knew that being a stewardess would mean that I would have to fly and be away from my child. And I didn't want to do that. So my option was to go to the telephone company and work as a uh, what would they call us? I've forgotten exactly what the title was, but it was a customer service representative for the telephone company, CMP telephone company. Interesting situation though there. Still, the unfairness was so prevalent. The supervisors that I worked for didn't have a high school diploma, didn't have a high school diploma, but they insisted that the Black women that were working there, one of which was Fran, my friend that's out in California, um, had some college. You had to. How unfair is this? I'm taking directions from someone who, is not as qualified as I am to be in the position that I have, which was very unfair. But however, that was what do you do about it? Well, Stokely was arranging demonstrations for unfair hiring practices against a lot of companies, one of which was CMP Telephone Company.
Mm.
So he would, and just an aside, when I was at Howard, I was a campus pal. And the
Mhm.
campus pals, you know what they were,
Remember, I know Campus Pal.
right? I was the campus pal to the oh so worrisome, bothersome Stokely Carmichael from New York. Man, can you just leave me alone for a minute?
Leave me alone.
He was so inquisitive and so I worked in the library as well. And so he was always in the library. He was always asking questions, always had something to do, but we became friends. And then
Mhm.
he was the person that was arranging all of the boycotts and the demonstrations and stuff like that. And so Fran and I saw him on the out there demonstrating. We're like, hey, it's our lunch hour. We can
Mm.
go and pick it too. We can pick the company that works for us. And what can they do? They can't do anything. They can't. They. This is my time. I can do whatever. We felt like we could do whatever we wanted to do. Well, they had a way to be able to diffuse that for me because what they ended up doing was because I was not the most prompt person in the world to get to work on time. I had to get my son ready, get him into daycare, get to my mom's or wherever he was going to go at that particular time before I came to work. Fran and I both. I mean, we were both like notoriously 2-3 minutes late. However, we had the most. We were the most we were the strongest members of that team. We got the most work done. It didn't matter that we were late, but the stickler was we were late. Fran was smart. She left and moved back to New York. I was still there. And they were like clocking every time I missed the 2 minutes or 3 minutes late. And they finally got enough time that I was late to say, sorry, you're out of here. So
Oh. Yeah, he said, all right,
I
sorry.
got fired. I
Yeah,
got fired from that job, but I still, it was worth it. Again,
yeah,
there are consequences to your behavior, and that is something that we all have to learn. But what the consequences outweigh the benefits? Sometimes no. Hey, things changed, policies changed because of demonstrations like that. Not, I won't say necessarily that particular one, but demonstrations like that when people take a stand for what they believe is right, you know, it's worth
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
And then it changed again another trajectory of my life.
So just moving forward, share it to, let me know how you got the job at Manpower.
Yeah, it was actually this is during the time now when they were it was a United Planning Organization when Manpower Development was a part of how uh, how we were going to get Black people more acclimated or into different jobs, and to help develop ladders of succession from when you come in as a secretary to how you move up to become a manager to become, the president if you can. Um, so they were in the process of hiring. And because I had a pretty good reputation in terms of skills and skill sets when I applied, I got the job and was able to. And by this time, I had a degree. I had my degree as well, so I was able to work in manpower development, and it was it was an amazing opportunity for us to work in different areas to help companies develop strategies for upward mobile opportunities for um, African Americans and Black people in the communities, bringing them into jobs, getting job training, helping them get job training and and things like that. And it was an organization that just happened to have this absolutely amazing man. Y'all may know him as Ralph Waldo Petey Green. And he was a character, and he really took an interest in me and helping me understand. He didn't think he think because he called me, hey, college girl. He thought because I was a college girl that I didn't know about inner city and what inner city life was about. And he wanted to introduce me to what inner city really was. And he actually took me around to um, all kinds of drug houses and showed me, the way drug addicts lived and gallery shooting galleries and decayed alleys and all kinds of things because he wanted to make sure that I was attuned to really the degradation and the what what was necessary to do in order to help clean up the and work within the Black community to help. And it was really good. And it was good in another way too, because I did not know that at this point that one of the persons that I grew up with in my neighborhood was this guy named Dewey Hughes.
I
And
was about to get into that.
Dewey and Petey were
Uh-huh.
good friends. And one day I was walking out of my office, and Petey was coming out of his office, and Dewey was walking up the steps. And you're like, hey, and and that reunion brought about a whole nother trajectory to my life, thanks to Dewey Hughes, who in my mind is one of the most creative and innovative producers, writers, directors in the country, just has not actually been recognized for all of his talents. But the man's a genius in my mind, and has helped so many people, me included, in their entry
Mhm.
into the broadcast arena. And that's how I ended up um, working in broadcasting, was through Dewey.
Love that. And these are all lessons that you were or you learned from hands-on experience that you would not have been able to gain from academics. From academics.
Exactly.
These are firsthand, like on-job experience. So I love that.